I can see an innate desire, sword in hand, warriors side by side. I can feel it, it burns like fire. Worlds collide, an unstable landscape, side by side. But that's what this mandates. Be it might, an unlikely allegiance. We will fight because that's the best defense. No turning back, for such is our path. Is clear as we ride against a dark empire. By my soul, may the last thing they hear be the roar of this raging fire. Listen, be the savagery mindset. Not today, we'll let loose and find it. Brutal will define our reaction. Rip out the throat of each one in their fashion. No turning back, for such is our path. This day we find the glorious death. Fear not, my friend, for righteous the path. They shall remember glorious death. Glorious! The angels have fallen, my allies are beaten and broken down. I shed not a tear. After all, this is why we are here. A war we were not supposed to win. If I'm to die tonight, I'll kill every demon that stands in my time. Go! You must shake me a fool. I'll stand on the skeletons of every goal. But if I'm to die, well, this very night, I'll kill every demon that stands in us. No turning back, for such is our path. This day we find the glorious death. Fear not, my friend, for righteous the path. They shall remember glorious death. Make them remember glorious death. Glorious
And we are live. This is Braxcast time once again, guys. And let's see if I can get myself some slightly better framing. So it is It is Saturday. Well, I guess Saturday morning Saturday evening for you, Creative Welshman. I'm really wrong on the time zones, but I know usually Friday night's a bit too late for you since you're um, in England, or I would say the UK. I ought to say. No second song. I didn't feel like doing the second song today. This has been not the best week for me. Had some personal stuff going on. I'll get through it, man. I've dealt with heartbreak before. But I'm not going to say anything more than that. Not like the person's going to watch this anyways. But it's just like, yeah, it's been a bit of an emotional week for me. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to go on this because like I'm a bit down in the dumps and I don't want to like, oh, it's never going to get better, man. Yeah, I'm doing okay other than that. I'm in Wales. I'm 6 hours ahead of Texas, if that helps. Yeah, so you're probably about 5 hours ahead of me. Yeah, so yeah, you're in Wales. Like I said, about 5 hours ahead. So it's probably about like 6 o'clock for you, if I would imagine. But anyways, that doesn't really matter all too much. So the time that I usually stream is not the best for you, but this is of course like Saturday afternoon for me because I was meeting with some friends yesterday night. They had some people over. I was one of them. Played some Settlers of Catan. I left like before. It's my first time playing, so I wasn't really like trying to win. Like I said, I was a bit down in the dumps, so I wasn't really that invested. Yeah, around 6:07 p.m. Yeah, so I was right. I'm right. I'm very masterful. My knowledge of time zones at times. But anyways, there is some interesting stuff to talk about. So we are going to talk about probably, yeah. So I did the episode of Braxcast, and usually I talk about, hey, like tomorrow's episode of Braxcast, but of course, since it's Saturday, I already did the Saturday episode of Braxcast. So yeah, Merkel, I'm just saying going live at 12 p.m. Central. Asking me that. So we got hail to you, Merc. Yeah, like I was saying a little bit before. Usually I do Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. But I had Friday night, some friends had a get together, and I went to that, and then I pushed the live stream back to tomorrow. So that might happen at times. Like I said, if you watched it already, I uploaded Braxcast a couple hours ago. I did it early in the morning, around like probably a bit before, probably around 9 o'clock or so, and then I hit the gym. I ran a mile on the treadmill. Did some pull-ups, foam rolled out a little bit. And then I did some shopping. I came back home. I just watched Secret of Nim. I just got that review out. That was the on the last day to get that monthly review out. I did it. So that's done. All the paid content on the Substack is done for the month. So consider subscribing, becoming a paid member of the Substack. I am keeping up with that content. Haven't really done the comic reviews. I said, student of God, if you want that relationship update, it's cooked. I'm boned. I'm gonna die alone. Meeting deadlines. Yeah, just barely though. Just barely. Hopefully I'm a little bit better in February. There's 2 weekends in February where I'm going to be traveling, so I'm going to be busy in February. And like I said, emotionally, I'm in a very tender spot right now, so it's going to take me some time to recover. It depends on how things go, but yeah, regardless, it's going to take time for me to get like back into the swing of things. And I never really was in the swing of things, but once like I get over this hump, I think I'm going to be a lot better because I have my sanity back. It's just that I'm just sad about it because it's like, you deal with, a woman or women or whatever in that context. And it's just confusing because you're trying to figure out what she means. But now I know. And I did know already, but I was just in denial about the way things were. But I don't want to like go on and on about my personal life. But also, I did say like last weekend, I was like, oh yeah, I was going to hike. And I did do that hike. I didn't get to the summit of that mountain, but I was out for like 8 hours in like negative temperature, man. That was brutal on me. I'm not going to, I'm going to go back to doing hiking. maybe later in February, but not that well. I was going to do it this weekend, today because I had to do the live stream today. But not for like a little bit because I need to rebuild that will to live if I'm going to do something like that. Because like for about half of that hike, I was like thinking I'm going to freeze the. And I was like, remember near the end, it's like if I stop moving, I'm going to die. Oh man, but I didn't. I lived. I lived to tell the tale. And it's just really freaking cold because it's like, I mean, it was 19 degrees and that's the high. Um, good news for me is that there's an AI relationship bot out there for yes. I don't want an AI girlfriend, man. See, this is the thing. This is so demonic. Is that like I don't want an AI. You know, I want like an actual woman to like hold on to me at night and tell me it's going to be okay, which is like really a sappy thing to say. I don't think any. Well, actually, I would say I know no woman is going to be caught dead even thinking about doing that for me. But like an AI is not going to replace that need for you. Of course, you'll have like the sex bots that'll basically be able to do that. And we're getting there basically. But that it's just from the pit of hell to do stuff like that. Like if that's my only option, I know you're saying that sarcastically, student of God, but if that's the only option, then um I'd rather just get my shack in the woods and die alone. And honestly, that's just kind of like the plan right now. Just try and get the income up, buy some land up north, like Pittsburgh or something like that. Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then just die alone. Because like I'm just done. You got a hat and a shirt that says I'm single. I feel like that's really. I feel like that's a way to get pepper sprayed. I don't know. I wasn't really ever trying. It just was a situation I got into, and I don't want to try, man. Like I hate putting myself out. I don't really ever put myself out there. But I'm just done with it because like I hate like being romantic is so such a losing game as a man because women very rarely are romantic. So the thing with is that the men are the romantic ones, and then you give the romance to the woman, and then she receives it and she reciprocates, right? Optimally. If she's as invested in the relationship as you are, like you get her flowers and you take her out to dinner, and you do all these things, and then she gives you love and affection, right? And that makes the relationship worthwhile. It's just that like especially since I'm 27, most women around my age, you think like younger millennials, Gen Z, don't really care for that crap. A lot of just like sleep around with the bad boys, a lot of them, and a lot of the ones who are the good ones, they're taken. And I just have no game, man. I'm not really, I'm not the guy. I'm not anybody's guy. I'm one person's guy. You see, if I can point, yes, right there. That's an icon of Jesus Christ. I'm his. But that's really about it. But anyways, enough about me being all sappy about my lack of a love life. Let's talk about the Rippaverse because this is Braxcast Live. So this happened. This was announced on Friday before. I think it was before I set the. It was after I set the topic for the stream. This was announced, and I made this the topic of the video. Let's see. Dude, don't go into a relationship with romance in mind. Start off as friends and build up that relationship. See if you click properly before pushing romance. I agree. It's just that like I never left the friendship stage because like we were friends. And it's just like I just couldn't be her friend anymore. Because like I was just too invested in it. And she just wasn't ever going to view it that way. So there might be like a couple more times where we see each other just because of like the circumstances between us. And that's like a bit of an odd thing to say since like I'm Orthodox and I'm going to get baptized. But anyways, there's a whole situation there that I don't necessarily need to get into. But anyways, I was building this, friendship, and it just like I just realized that like there was nothing I could do to make her see the relationship the way I saw it, right? And that's a variety. It has nothing to do. It's nothing against her. She's not a bad person or anything like that. It's just that like again here I am talking about this. But I guess I just want to say my piece. But yeah, I was like being her friend, right? Let's see. I should screen snipe Rippa. Maybe I'll do that. But anyways, I guess we'll cover. You know, we got the Rippaverse digital. This is so far made about 5K. It's not going to make that much money since a lot of people have these books, but this is a cool thing. I did go over all the books that are on this on Braxcast Live. Very, very nice. But honestly, let's screen snipe Rippa. Let's do that. You know what? Let's do that. Let's just do something. Let's just do something funny. Screen snipe Rippa for a little bit. Maybe I'll keep this short because I'm like I've established. I am not in a good frame of mind right now, which again, you know, it's okay for me to not be like that. You know, it happens when stuff like this happens, but I'm just like, I'm very down in the dumps. But it's nice to like be live streaming to you guys. I gotta like at least try and hype myself up a little bit, right? Let's see. Young Rippa 5'9". Woo. I'm not even seeing an. Oh, I see that he's live. So let's see here. Doo-doo-doo.
So, you know, it's that it worked for
Boom.
us. Well, now we're taking that same kind of approach and doing it more on like the traditional publishing route. So what that means is that we're taking what traditional publishers do and how they operate, and we're moving that towards a direct to customer model, direct to D2C, direct to consumer. Right. So Elves, I'm explaining it right now. Actually, shout out to you, 11 months. I'm explaining it right now. So what's going to happen is this, because a lot of you don't know this. So I do.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse for me. I could be Frog 20 trying to hook up with no girl. That wasn't the situation I was in. Thank God.
Shout out Braxcast, one of the best like fan podcasts out there.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Rippa. That made my day.
But I want to talk about this. So a lot of you, and it's not for you to know how it's worked traditionally. There's some differences with the direct market, but really that's more on the back end of like buybacks and stuff. But how it works is before you have a book in your hand with any traditional publisher, how it will work is that book is for pre-order, and it just depends so you have the distributor network, okay? They are making the sale. They are working with, so the publisher is going to be contracted by the distributor. Or rather, the distributor is going to be contracted by the publisher, right? They're going to have some distribution deal or whatever. The distributor, as part of their sales team, they are then selling it to the retailers. They have anywhere from, on average, sometimes longer, but on average, 2, which is the very short term end, those are usually specialty items, to 4 months of a pre-order window. So what that means is that from 2 to 4 months,
you know, going on this super. Someone saying they're moving
window,
like all the storage bins, Ripper stuff is. It's like, yeah, I got like 4 boxes, probably like 6 boxes. The first box, right? 4 of them are the great box.
So you got the release date, and you got 2 to 4 months. And the release date is when you are able to buy it, when you're able to go to the store, buy it online, or whatever it is. You got 2 to 4-ish months on average. So what's happening is those distributors.
I wonder if campaign totals are still going to be up there. Talking about for the digital release.
It's usually a cutoff.
I believe so.
Usually that cutoff can be between.
I think this model was something to do with this big deal. He said he was in the works. Rippaverse. It's Rippaverse in the comic book shops. I see. Probably not going to be counted online then. Like I saed, I don't want to like talk over him, but I guess the commentary is that,
so they can put
and we can
and have them
even for a little bit, is that what I really want is there to be like monthly numbers. So you see this Oh yeah, I'm sharing the window. So, but if you go to the Rippaverse site, you would see like around like the top, like here, where my mouse is pointing, basically, a bunch of like tabs, like to, buy like collections. I love like sales, it just breaks down the monthly sales for the Rippaverse. And then you would roll in the comic book shop numbers into that list, something like Comic-Con, but for the Rippaverse. That would be cool. I said this before, they're a private company, are under no obligation to share that information, but it would be a cool thing if they did. So if you watch this, Eric, probably not. That's what I would recommend. But anyways, we'll unmute.
Go up for sale every week. We're gonna let you know what those are for pre-orders. All right, so pre-sales are starting right now for whatever book.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly like a sales
And
chart.
we're
That'd
probably
be a
going
cool
to be
thing to do,
maybe
especially
I'm
if
doing
it
that
got
like
into
every
comic book
week. Every
shops.
week I'm
They
doing a
broke it down
video,
by
I'm
like what
sending
was
you guys
direct to
out email
consumer,
out there. I'm
what
sending
was done to
emails
comic
like basically
shops,
again
what was
same
done to like
similar
online, other
solicitation
online
that you would
stores.
see
That'd be a cool thing to
between
do.
that retailer
But there's just,
and the distributor slash
I'm not
publisher.
sure if there's probably reasons why
So
that
you
doesn't
can get
happen.
your
He's like
pre-orders
I said, it's a
in
private
on
company.
these given
He has
projects,
no, shareholders.
and
He doesn't
then
have to release any numbers publicly.
that means that
Doesn't have
now
to
this
release like
launch date
I forget what
is
it's
a
called. Oh,
release date.
a
So what this
prospectus
means
the
for you
company.
as customers is
Does not
that
have to do that,
there's windows that are going to be
which
some
is
are
a
going
good
to be
thing,
bigger than what you have
for
traditionally
his
seen,
autonomy. It's just that
but there's going to
but
be
I would just love
hard
that like level of
release
transparency.
dates.
But there, like I
These are
said,
the
there's no
changes that happen
obligation
for
to
you.
do it.
You're going to be hard. We're going to have hard release dates. So whatever date Wednesday, which is obviously comic book release date for, as you guys know, there'll be a Wednesday that we know that books are going to start going out, right? Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I will.
So you're gonna have those release dates. It's not gonna be when we put some up for pre-order. It's not gonna be this extravagant like trailer associated with it, right? That's gonna be reserved if we're gonna do that for the actual release date. So now a release date is a release date, right? Like you would expect from a general publisher. Like, hey, this is coming out on this date. So we will have with each book now an estimated hard release date. And I say estimated because again, we have to reserve that right to be like, okay, well, if we want to push something back, like again, any other publisher does, um, a week or 2 weeks, so fucking depends on what happens because you never know, man. It is a production-based business. There's always going to be at times hiccups in the process. So you're going to have that date, that estimated hard date, which is an actual date. It will be January the whatever, February the whatever. Like that's what the day is going to be. No more of the Q1, Q2 stuff. It's just going to be this is the date that the release is going to be. If we have something fun, it'll be for the launch date, and for that launch date, you are going to be able to buy it, right? But we're doing pre-orders before. Now, where this changes is that there's probably not going for when it comes to variants, there's probably not going to be that many variants that are going to be available post or like release date and beyond. The release dates, the only guaranteed cover is going to be that mass print cover. So when we do that cutoff, whatever we decide, and of course we're going to be letting everybody know, hey,
And saying hail to Garfield. So Eric's just talking about like a change in the collection format where like there's going to be a hard release date, which I really like. But anyways, Student of God said some stuff's going to be talked about. That's NDA. So we'll watch this for a bit and see if he does talk about that. And I don't want to like talk over him, but definitely nice to see you, Garfield. Glad you made it. And I did, like I said, I do the community post to make sure people know when the time is. Let's see, stand activated, Lasagna King. I do like lasagna. But anyways, we'll get back to letting Eric talk.
book that will be available will be the mass print version. Okay. So what this does is allow us to do a couple of different things. We get books out more often, right? I think the middle of this year and beyond, it's going to be fun if you're a Rippaverse fan. It's going to be some every week you're going to be able to talk about because that's how our cadence is going to end up improving. So we're going to have all of these books that are going to be ready to rock. Okay. Furthermore, we can get a little more accurate or as accurate as we need to be with our printing as well, which we're already pretty accurate, but we can always make improvements. So a lot of times we underorder as an example. So we need to improve that. And that's why that cutoff is going to be there. So we know, bam, this is it. This is all we need. And then we're moving on. Okay. So It just means that there's going to be a lot to talk about, but also, and some of you might not be the biggest fans of this, and I totally understand it if that's the case. I'm not knocking this, but y'all have to understand, if y'all want more books, we have to go this route. These pre-orders are not going to have all these items that are associated with it. It's generally, for a lot of them, just going to be the book. There's an odd chance that there's a specialty merchandise item or a signed copy, but do not go into it expecting all these different things. Most of them, I'll tell you right now, most of them are just going to be book, and that's it. Some of them will be book and CGC, just depends. But we're not going to be relying on CGC a lot anymore as well. We're not going to be doing those as often.
Yeah, no, I agree with like de-emphasizing on the CGC. And honestly, what I said is like once a year, do like a CGC collection where you take like all the books that released that year and do signed CGCs for those. And you might only want to do it for like only get cover Bs for the comics, not for the omnibus volumes, which seems to make sense. That's why he only buys the variant covers. And as Eric is expanding his operations while his hairs are turning on each other or ringing up Rippaverse W. Yeah, I mean, I don't even care what, the crabs in the bucket are always going to pull each other down into the barrel. It just is what it is. But anyways, let's get back to watching this because, we're getting some interesting info.
Stuff is, like, they got books that they want to put out, right? And it's going to be very difficult if we keep relying on CGCs. We could have this universe be really, really expansive if we didn't have to do that. Right? So, that is a massive change, but it's already in I told you guys yesterday, expect, like, I will do a video. It's actually going to get edited here. Jordan's in the chat. Jordan's going to be editing it, and we'll get that out to you, explaining all of what I just said in a little more detail. We are also looking at two different things. One is I'm looking for a subscription. I'm looking at a subscription model for you guys. Not like, hey, we get all the books, but actually, yes, but not like you hear subscription and you think like our memberships. That's not what I'm talking about. Though that will eventually have some changes, just not yet. When I'm saying the subscription, I'm trying to make it easy and cheaper for you guys that want to subscribe to, say, if you want to subscribe to like ISOM as a title, right? DC does this very well. I give them props. I actually love their model there. They're not the only ones that do it, but they have a better landing page than probably all of the comic book companies right now. You can go right now, for example, if you wanted Absolute Batman, you can go to Absolute Batman right now, or DC Comics. You can go to them, and I think this has a lot to do with the partnership that they have with they had it with Midtown or Random House. I believe it's one of them. But what they're able to do is now you can go there and you could just subscribe to a title and you can buy the next like 12 fucking issues if you wanted to of that title. So it'll tell you like, hey, this was the last issue that we published. So you want the next 12 books and you just don't want to have to think about it, right? You just want to pay out front. That way you're not like, I'm going to miss if this comes out or nothing. This is your title. This is your baby. You just want to go ahead and drop the books and move on with your life. You're going to be able to do that. So we're looking for a method to the madness there to make that a clean experience so you guys are able to subscribe to very titles. But there's also, and this is going to be a little more complicated, but my devs feel good about being able to pull it off. Like basically a subscription for all of the Rippaverse books. Now, again, that will be the percentage off that you're going to get is going to be very cheap. That being said, the way that we would do that, it wouldn't be necessarily like a pay ahead. It would be more of a.
Yeah, no, I agree with this, Garfield. Like I was saying before, there should only be like CGC like a once a year. And then like those get ordered or it launches like afterwards. So the CGC shouldn't be done that all. And honestly, who wants to get like a CGC for like a number free anyway? Not that like it isn't cool or anything. It's just that it's not nearly as collectible. So holding it up to always do CGCs for every issue is it's a bit ridiculous. And like Eric is saying, it hampers up their ability to like release books in a very timely manner, which is at the point, which is what they need to do to really get to like where the fans want this to be. Anyways, let's get back to this live stream.
You know, you deciding. So what's going to happen is you're going to be. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to be able to subscribe to any book that we put out. And before, but it's going to be a commitment. You're going to obviously have to commit to like, because we can't have people just getting it and then canceling it immediately. Because then at that point, what's the incentive? So it'll be like maybe it's like a 6 book minimum or something like that. But what'll happen is we'll let you know what the book is about to drop. Go up for solicitation or whatever, like a week or so before, so you know that before you get charged. So you're not necessarily paying ahead with that model, but you will be able to say, for you diehards out there, that's who it's going to be appealing. It's not like all of them. It's not even most of them. With any comic book company, you're going to have people that pick their spots, but we got a few people that are like, whatever the damn book is, just give it to me. Like that's all I want. This is going to be a great option. You're going to be able to save a lot of money doing this, and it rewards you for the diehard support. So yes, that is a model that we are looking at. And I will keep you guys posted on this upcoming week about that. But generally how it's going to work is we're going to let you guys know possibly weekly when those books go up for solicitation. So there's going to be like a lot of books in pre-order. How this is going to work is there's going to be a lot of books that are going to be in like a lot of books that are going to be in pre-order solicitation window. And then by like, I would say May, June-ish, it's probably going to be like, oh, it's going to feel like, you're following a Marvel or a DC, because every week there's going to be something that is technically releasing. And it may be multiple books a week that are going to be releasing, right? Which means that if you pre-order it, those orders have already gone out. Those books are getting to you. And I'm really, really excited for this. I am extremely excited for this. So that is the way of the future. I am, yeah, man, it's something that's overdue, because it's like we're beyond that initial hype phase, and we're now at sustainability phase. That's where we're at. We're at okay, you've been here now 3.5 years, going on 4. It's time for that catalog to grow type shit. So that's going to be the way of the future. I'm really, really excited. My Rippaverse pull list, all of them. You can do that. Straw Hat Guy, shout out. You are going to be able to do that.
Hey Mike, how you doing? And you're asking me that I didn't die in your hike. I did not. For like half of that hike, I thought I was going to freeze to death, but I didn't. So I'm still alive. But that was by the grace of God. That had barely anything to do with me. That I was a bit crazy for doing that, because when I was driving up there, my car rated was like -12 when I started the hike. It was like I walked like 12 or so miles that day in negative temperature. Absolutely insane to me to do, but it was nice. I needed to get out. We could have the comics come out or tri-monthly. Like we get like 2 or 3 books coming out a month, and honestly, that's where it needs to go. And student of God saying, you told Eric this a year ago, that like focusing less on the CGC, I suppose. Yeah, Rippaverse, yeah, I'd say Rippaverse is already a full-fledged publisher. They're just leaning more into it because the release catalog is massive. But yeah, he certainly needs to step it up to match where his aspirations are. So I understand Eric saying this, but it's already really impressive the amount of books that they've released for an independent company. But this is like, I'm thinking in comparison to like, the people on like Indiegogo and Kickstarter that just, sit on their hands all day. And some of it is like, when you're doing this as like a side gig, it makes sense that it takes a while for this stuff to come out. And if you're like just one guy writing, drawing, and then doing all the printing of it, whereas Eric has got a team of people making the books, doing the editing and all of that, it gives it the ability to put stuff out much quicker. So I understand that that part of it, but there's some people who, you know, ought to be having more output that don't. But we've gone all of that. Yeah. You know, yeah, people are still waiting for the Rainbow book 6 years later. Yeah, scalable business certainly. So, but let's, you know, I want to unpause the stream.
That is, I don't know how quickly that's going to roll out before the solicitation stuff goes out, but for the first few books. But yeah, that's the way of the future. So we got a pre-order solicitation window. It's again for people that like have worked in retail, you already are familiar with this process. We're just bringing it to direct to consumer. That's it. That's the only difference that we're doing. So this also lets you know that you're gonna know when books are dropping, like, and it's gonna be less like vagueness of, hey, we got to be secret until the launch of the book because we have to do the collection format. Now now the release date is the big date, and so we're just letting you guys know this book is on the way. And that also means, as with any other publisher, there is inevitably going to be times where a book that has not, like, let's say if it's like Alpha Core 2, right? You know, Alpha Core 2 has not fulfilled, but Alpha Core 3 would be on pre-order. Like, when I say has not fulfilled, it has not been shipped yet, obviously, because the release date hasn't hit yet. But Alpha Core 3 has already started solicitation, pre-order solicitation for it. So you're going to see a lot of that for some of our series. So it lets you know that it's coming, you know what I mean? And we're picking up our cadence. But that's the way that we're able to pick up our cadence, is really we need to separate books and those releases from like merchandise. So some people have asked about the cards, which is a fantastic question. The cards are going to be something that is going to have its own kind of thing, and we'll do probably either we'll probably just do a basic in-store pre-order for those, right? It's not going to be tied to campaigns anymore. It's going to be a basic, and that goes for pretty much every merchandise item. There may be select books that will have, in the middle of their solicitation window, that will have pre-order, like what they'll have like a merchandise item, but for most of the books that will not be the case. For most books, it's just going to be one or two items. And like one of those being the book, and maybe there's a signed version of it, but that's it. But most times it's going to be like just the book. For a lot of releases, you need to get prepared that that's the only thing that's available for you to get is going to be the book. That way, we're not waiting for merchandise or anything like that. I always get the book pack, so subscription would be enticing. Yeah, we're working on different.
I'd say not too much, Merc Lounge. Eric is just talking about how the collection format's going to change to basically be just the books, harder release dates, faster fulfillments, but we're going to be getting less merchandise, which I haven't really been buying much of the merchandise anyway, so I really just care about getting the books, and I want the books sooner rather than later. And like this, you know, will make shipping easier. Yeah, you know, the sad thing is if Comicsgate had been focused on their business, not in drama and drama farming, they could have come together and you know, and done something similar for themselves. Yeah, there could be like Comicsgate could be actually be doing a lot more than it is if the main you know, people pushing it were actually putting out comics, right? And that's like when I got into it about like 4 years ago at this point. This is like in 2022 was like 4 years ago at this point. My God. So it was like 4 years ago when I first got into Comicsgate. It was like January of 22, December of 21. It was what am I even saying? Yeah. That point being is that it would be also there's the thing, the subscription should be just the mass print cover, so you wouldn't have to even think about it. Yeah, that would be a nice thing to do as well. And then Creative Flashman is saying if an issue every 2 to 3 months per series, then there are going to be 90-day pre-order windows. I'm guessing it'll be every 3 months. We see from Eric, it will ship once we get insert merch item. Yeah, exactly. So like not having to worry about like the shirts or the hats or anything like that, and just having the books that aren't graded. You can just bag them, board them, put them in the mailer, ship them out, and it just makes it a lot easier to get them out there. So that's basically the one thing. And then like you can probably just do like merch drops, like just do like a merchandise collection. You could do like the summer collection or the spring collection or the fall collection, and just release a bunch of various, like shirts and hats and all that jazz. And then the CGCs are also a big holdup as well. And like I said, I think what should be done is that you should have maybe once, twice, 3 times a year, so that way the creatives can do their schedules, have different times of years can come out throughout the year, and just release them alone as their own schedules. They've done that before. I think they really ought to do that consistently. It just allows the books to not be held up by the CGCs. And I personally don't care about the CGCs taking time to get to me, as long as they get to me in good condition. That is that there. Well, anyways, we'll unpause and we'll go back to watching.
How that's going to look is going to change. Obviously, we're working on different tiers. So I will keep you posted on that. It's going to be something that we're going to be constantly learning on, working extremely hard on. So I wanted to let you guys know that, but that catalog is about to get massive, bros. Like I said, it's going to feel like the first half of this year is going to feel like, damn, there's something going up. There's like few things going up for pre-order between Rippaverse and Rippaverse, like every week or every other week. But once we get to like May, I would say May is going to feel like, from May on, everything changed. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. From May on, everything's gonna feel different, because it's like a book is going to be technically releasing probably like every week or every other week, because of how our new deal is gonna work. And that will be the model moving forward. Basically, every week there will be something that is going to be going out simultaneously. We're going to be launching pre-order solicitation, but there's going to be something going out time and time again. It's going to feel like a ever expanding universe. And most importantly, the big reason why this is a big reason why we did the digital thing right now. This is the year of the reader, if this makes sense. We obviously have profit that we have to maintain. We just hit 850 books, by the way, on the digital sales. If you're watching this on Facebook, on Twitter, I'm not even streaming on Twitter. YouTube is pinned in the comment section. Twitch, it's not. So I'm going to pin it right now. But go buy a digital book.
I just got an email from Zay Comics. Man the Strings #1 is getting ready for its first issue, and #0 came out pretty recently. I got that like end of November or beginning of December. Yeah, new deal is going to work, and then we're going to get that. It's going to be in May. Something every week is going to come out. That's going to be insane, man. Oh, man. Well, it's not going to survive. I'm going to have so much stuff to cover on Braxcast. It's going to be amazing. But let's see. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. But anyways, let's get back into it.
PDF. Go get that. Okay. Pinning that right now. Go buy something. Just get something. That's all I ask. But this is the year of the reader. This is I am trying to expand the readership. Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. Like I want more people to realize that we're not only still here, but we are ever expanding. And this is an ambitious company, and you can be a part of it. So we've got to pick things up. So the goal of expanding that catalog pretty, rapid pace. But the big thing we're trying to do with expanding of this catalog is allow different types of readers that are into different types of work to have a space for them. That's what we're trying to do. I want people to be able to go and just enjoy a Rippaverse book or a title at minimum. And maybe not every title is going to be something that they're into, but they have something that satisfies them, that's of their ilk, if you will. So I want you to take that into consideration moving forward, because a lot of things are about to fundamentally change here at the Rippaverse. And first, I think the first half of the year, you're going to see a lot of stuff going up for a pre-order solicitation, pretty much each week, and then going and starting in May. And sure, we're still going to be fulfilling through the year, through the beginning of the year. You're going to be seeing all the other books that we have get fulfilled. Ripazine 5, 6, Yaira Definitive, Alpha Core, Detention Crew. All those are going to be fulfilling over the course of the beginning of this year, and then we're going to go into May rocking and rolling. Would you consider actual novels for character stories, not just comics themselves? Actually, Carol and I were talking about that yesterday. Not even lying. So that's where we're at. I appreciate everybody and the support. Again, if you're watching this live, all I don't ask from you much. Go to rippaverse.com/digital. If you've been on the fence with the Rippaverse, we have a very cheap option to buy in to just check us out. And hopefully, and we have a little thank you page at the end. Hopefully, it will incentivize you to get physical copies to continue the series. If you're reading like a Yaira or a Isam, and go buy those physical books, but we want you in. We want you to join our fandom. So this is what I would love for you to do. Go to rippaverse.com/digital. You will see the collection items. If you scroll down, you can see all of these books right here that you're going to be able to purchase. I want you to purchase those books, whichever one looks good to you. If it's all of them, you can get them. I want you to read them. And I want you to go find our Discord, rippaverse.com/discord. I want you to find that Discord, and I want you to come holler at us. And I want you to come, meet the fandom. I want you to have fun with the fandom. I want you to enjoy yourself. Tell people about, the fun that you had with the experience. Theorize. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking you to give us a shot. That's it.
I believe that has to do with the NDA deal he talked about. I clipped it's probably in the DMs. Yeah, I think a decent chance it is. But anyways, I don't think pulling that up really matters. I wonder how well a teen superhero book would work, similar to Teen Titans in concept, but with the tone of the Batman animated series, Teen Titans 2003, and the Static Shock TV shows. I remember that old Teen Titans show. I really liked that as a kid. Manga's taken over American pop culture because they focus on the readers dedicated to those stories. American comics depend too much on number one rebuke collectibles and 20 different covers. Yeah, definitely. And Detention Crew, I say Detention Crew is less teenager and more like probably between that like 6 and 14 range at the oldest. I'm in the Discord, but I'm terrible interaction. I am too. I just post in the free shell. I have my own take, which would be more in keeping with that series. Okay, good. Let's get back into it.
Just asking you to give us a shot. So that's pretty much the update there on the Rippaverse side. I got Barrett X, 35 months. I read that. Professor X with a 10 says closing on my first house next week. Let's go. And seeing how many storage bins all my Rippaverse stuff takes up has been crazy. Looking forward to having that Rippaverse phone book posted up in my new crib too. Yeah. Talking about this one that you're not supposed to be able to hold up with one hand. This lovely deal, the Rippaverse Omnibus, years 1 through 3. Perhaps. How does someone join the Rippaverse, either artist or writer? Well, we'll find you. Trust me. Always though, we find fan artists. We have our contest, Ripperfest. Those are great ways. We already actually gave a gig to one of the Ripperfest winners. Actually, I got a contract that I'm gonna be signing NDA. But yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff that's gonna happen over the next year and some change. Well, really the next 6 months. It's gonna be very, very. It's gonna be a fun time. All right, we have Antichrist with 39 months. Where would you put your physical?
I got the
First
definitive
physical
item,
store?
but I
It would
did
be
not get
somewhere
the
out
year
here
one
in
for free
DFW,
omnibus.
1000%. But if we were doing like a Rippaverse store, we're gonna have to get a lot bigger than what we are now. I mean, we can't justify that yet, but maybe once our catalog grows. This concludes the what's happening in the Rippaverse segment. Yeah. If this was for Cannon's sake, for sure. But please, cheap buy-in. I would love for you to go to rippaverse.com/digital. Go buy those books. Let us know. And most importantly, as Libertarian05, just put in the chat over here on YouTube, I want you to join our Discord. I want you to come holler at us. Calvin, what's up? I see y'all over in the Facebook chat. You can do bicep curls with the omnibus. You're not lying. That is very, very true. Very true. Okay. So yeah, that's it. You got 2 books I want you to go support as well over on rippersin.com. We have, of course, Daughter's Revenge by my man's Jay. You know him as Drunk 3PO, who also just got added as an affiliate. He's a Rip affiliate. I'm really excited to have him.
I mentioned
also
that
writer for Cameron Cross, which you can get if you get the digital version of Saints and Sinners. You can read it. We got Shadow Century as well by Eric Ninotowski, actually halfway towards his goal. Wow. Okay. Let's go. Shadow Century. If you go to rippersin.com, you'll see the campaigns button. I want you to click that. Drops down. You have a couple of different options. Yeah. Okay. So what that was all the Rippaverse stuff. So yeah, let's talk about this real quick because it's in the title. Obviously over the last couple of days, there's been a big drop in I just did a video. It's on my page live right now.
Okay, so it seems like Eric's done talking with the Rippaverse stuff. He's getting into like Epstein file stuff. Not that that stuff isn't like relevant to talk about, but that's not necessarily the point of this live stream. So nothing too big. It seems like we'll get more information in May. So about 3 months from now, since it's going to be February starting in tomorrow. My God, time absolutely flies. Let's see. You back Shadow Century's been on Fund My Comic for years. Now I haven't backed that or Daughter's Revenge. I might do that. I still have some. I have a Christmas one of those debit cards you can spend anywhere. I got one of those for Christmas. I might back Daughter's Revenge with that. It's a collection, right? Yeah, SOG, I believe so. And we can go to rippersend.com, and we can go ahead and we'll cover the Rippaverse stuff. And then I think I'm going to be out of here because I'm a bit like I said, I mean it's good for me to be doing this because the more stuff I do, the less because just sitting around is it's a terrible thing when you're down in the dumps to just lie in bed all day and be depressed. So I got out to the gym, I did some shopping, I'm doing laundry, so I'm doing stuff. I'm doing this live stream. I did the recorded episode. So doing being active and doing stuff is great. It's just that I don't have the energy to do all of this crap. To be doing a lot. My mind is just too it's too all over the place. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. But anyways, let's see. Yeah, the soft cover is $40. That's expensive. Oh, posters cheaper. You got a book pack. So yeah, from the brink of death, Shadow survivors call back to life, infused with the Eternity's fire, wielding supernatural powers that bend reality itself, conscripted into an apocalyptic clash as angelic highborn sentinels and infernal hellborn marauders. Yeah, just don't go on another Sub-Zero hike. Yeah, well, I don't know. I kind of want to, but honestly, I was saying this before. The will to live is not strong enough right now for me to do that. It was last week before it all went down. But I'm not feeling it right now. And next weekend I got something I need to do. Yeah, next weekend. I'll be busy. And then the weekend after that I'll be going on 2 trips, 2 weekends in a row. It's pretty much a small omnibus, 160 pages, just like Death Shroud was basically. So yeah, I might hold off on backing that for a bit. But this one, it's 65K sold. And then I think it'll mention somewhere. Yeah. Daughter's Revenge. Yeah, I think I might just back Daughter's Revenge with that, and then I might just buy like a Steam game or something. I don't know what I'll do, but anyways, I'll probably just buy Daughter's Revenge, like the cheapest cover, with the $50 card, just because I said I would back it, so I definitely want to do that. And I wanted to go do black and white. But yeah, it's cool. So we got Daughter's Revenge, which is making decent amount of cash, and then Shadow Sentry, which is a little bit cheaper. But yeah, our Shadow Sentry is a bit more expensive, like $40. But again, that's like, if it's 160 pages, it's understandable why it's like that much money. But that just certainly is a good amount of money. But it's cool that this launched. And then we got some page samples. I mean, this is really, this is good art. Like, you gotta like really respect that. That's fantastic. And you got like 160 pages of that. Origin story and Shadow Sentry looks really good. I almost bought that like 10 times in past years. Interesting. But yeah, that's basically it there. Yeah. So yeah, guys, I've been live streaming for almost an hour. We covered some of Eric's live stream. Of course, I guess the last thing, I mean, there's the Rippaverse way. And we got the digital book. So Eric's also releasing the text-based book from the Rippaverse. So we can actually, very quickly, we can go over that. And then that'll probably, how to build a creative business the Rippaverse way. And this is so far made, almost 10K, and I probably will get over to 10K because it's going to run basically for all of February, which is nice. And this one, like, it's got CGC, which feels a bit pointless to me that this is CGC. Signed certificate of authenticity. I also think that's a little bit like it's not necessary, but I guess I can understand that to a degree. But anyways, this is definitely something that is offered digitally, so I probably will buy a copy of this at some point in the future. It might be someone I just get with the store credit. I might even just buy the digital. I probably do want to get the soft cover of this, which is $25, not that much money. Just to have a copy to say, hey, this is what it is. You can look over it for a little bit, look over it on the show for a little bit, but not really get into the weeds of the content. I mentioned that on the episode I recorded, that it just didn't feel like something that's like super relevant for me to like go through like I would a concept art book, because it's not going to give us any lore. It's just going to be talking about like stuff that's useful for someone like me who's trying to do. I got Velvet Room Publishing, but that's not the most successful thing I've done. I do the Braxcast, I do my own podcast, I do the show with Doc on Wednesdays, but that's really an excuse for just us to get together once a week and just talk. We didn't even do one this Wednesday because we didn't have anything to talk about other than like all the ice crap going in Minnesota. We just didn't want to talk about that. And also, it was the day after that happened. I was just talking to him about that, just like letting my feelings out, and he was consoling me, which was nice. Because he's like 50, I'm like 27, so he's got like a good amount of life experience on me, which helps a lot. But anyways, I'm gonna end it here, guys. So if I seemed like not all there, I apologize. Hopefully next week I'll be back at the usual time on Friday at 7 p.m. I don't think I'll have any plans Friday night that'll make me want to, I don't think I'm going to do anything Friday night. Might be one in February, one weekend and one Friday night in February where I'll do something like this again, where I'll push it to Saturday. It does seem you get a slightly like different showing. So like, if you guys like the Saturday time slot, I could definitely do Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, because it does seem like there's a decent showing here as well than Friday night. So it could be something that I do, but I do like to have the Saturday day open for myself. So most likely going to stick to that Friday night time slot. But anyways, that's enough ranting or talking about stuff for me. Oh yeah, I have a funeral to prepare next week. Yeah, no, I've got one as well. So a lot of stuff happening in life. But hopefully, my condolences. Hopefully, everything goes well for you. And I'll see you guys next week. And I like I said, recorded episode of Braxcast is out, so you guys can watch that after doing this. And if you already did, thank you very much. But nothing else other than that. I want to say this right now. Joker is out.